What's up, guys? Welcome back to Right Side, and welcome to another episode of the Red Report. Hot off the presses from yesterday's news is Matt Gaetz pulling his name from consideration for Trump's AG. Controversy surrounding Matt Gaetz after the House Ethics Committee had a report on some of the ongoing investigations going on against Gaetz. To my knowledge, a lot of them had been largely not very important or as pressing, I guess I should say, as before, being that Gaetz was already under heavy FBI investigation over the past year or two upon these allegations, which the DOJ found nothing. The whole thing comes after the DOJ investigated Matt Gaetz a year or two ago over these allegations of sexual misconduct with a minor. The DOJ found nothing, at least not enough to bring charges. The straw that really broke the camel's back, however, turns out to be an alleged second woman coming forward, alleging the same thing as the first one did. So Matt Gaetz then responded by pulling his name from consideration for Attorney General, citing that he doesn't want to bring undue distractions to the transition team process. Now, I initially liked the Matt Gaetz nomination. I'm not really sure if he had any real chance of going through Senate confirmations, going through it the formal way, even though I still think the majority of Trump's appointees will come through recess appointments, which as long as Mike Johnson plays fairly or plays long, Trump can essentially force a recess session right out of the gates, essentially, without the necessary help from the Senate. So I still think that Trump's going to do a lot of recess appointments, but I don't think that having the Matt Gaetz scandal looming over the head would be very good. So Matt Gaetz dropping out, it is what it is. I'm confident that Trump will find another Attorney General. Whether or not he's as fire-breathing as Matt Gaetz is, we will have to see. But I did like Matt Gaetz as the nominee. If for nothing else, it was someone you definitely knew was not a neocon. He was a full Trump supporter, the whole 9 yards, fire-breathing at the DOJ. So Matt Gaetz dropping out, it's a shame that these things happen. We'll have to see through a proper investigation or any further investigations what comes to light with the whole Matt Gaetz thing. And I generally have a rule where whenever allegations come out, I really restrain myself from making any snap judgments or any snap conclusions, because as we all know, sometimes lies spread faster than facts. And so the longer you wait for your story to develop, the more accurate or the more truthful the information will be. So I don't want to say conclusively that Matt Gaetz is innocent or not. I want to see how the investigation goes, and we'll see what Matt Gaetz' political future looks like after this. The next headline is, of course, RFK being appointed to direct the head of the Health and Human Services. This is the spot that all the MAGA voters were itching to see RFK take over, tasked with making America healthy again. RFK has been a lawyer against the corporate corruption for upwards of 40 years. And so if there's anyone who knows where the bodies are buried, so to speak, in corporate corruption, it's Bobby. And so I am very excited to see what RFK is able to do. He already made a comment about not banning Coca-Cola from using high fructose corn syrup and requiring them to use real cane sugar. So I think that these types of small little changes will really have a snowball effect over the years and over the generations. I think it'll bring accountability back to these food manufacturers. I think it'll bring a lot of accountability back to marketing agencies and advertisers and all these types of ways that people, cut the corners and things like that. There's a lot of ingredients that, of course, we all know a lot of other countries ban, but not here in America. And so we'll see what Bobby can do in terms of gutting out the corruption and making the food that we eat a lot safer. We are, of course, a very unhealthy country, a very obese country, a very chronically diseased country. And while a lot of that is self-inflicted, a lot of that is through the food that we eat and everything that we consume being highly processed, things like that, as RFK would call it, poison. And so RFK is going to have full reign over helping the average American's diet and life be a little bit healthier than it used to be. If for nothing else, that's much worth it for his efforts. And so when it comes to Bobby, Tulsi Gabbard being the head of Director of National Intelligence is another one. Two people who I know we can trust to be very staunchly anti-neoconservative, the neocons, and be very much on the populist anti-establishment bent. Tulsi is not going to hold anything back from the intelligence community, the intel community. She's going to let everything out to light. She's not going to hide any secrets that the public should know. And I'm very excited about that. I think she's going to be great. I think she is going to be one of those people who are going to have kind of a fire-breathing approach to this, being that Tulsi Gabbard has been targeted heavily, unfairly by the intel community herself. So with Bobby and with Tulsi, both of them have really been dealing with the issues at their respective roles for quite some time. And so now that they are heading those roles, I am fully confident in their abilities to turn these places around for the good, for the better, hopefully for a very long time, and reverse some of the damage that has been done. The last thing I want to get into is Alejandro Mayorkas and Christopher Wray skipping the Senate's annual threats to the Homeland hearing. Obviously, the Biden administration has just been a complete and absolute disaster when it comes to protecting the U.S. homeland. With the border crisis going on, we had the Chinese spy balloon going over much of the country. It's not surprising to see bureaucrats underneath Joe Biden ducking responsibility as much as they can. Both of these guys know, especially Alejandro, experiencing or seeing a House impeachment attempt. These guys both know that the American people do not like them, and they know that Republican members of Congress would grill them excruciatingly hard on these absolute gaffes. All we can do really is just count the days until Tom Homan can take over for where Alejandro Mayorkas is and really rebuild the border to what it should be. Strong border where illegal immigrants aren't flooding over into our major cities, forced to having to be flown out to places like Chicago and New York, Philadelphia, all these places that essentially has made every state, no matter where they are geographically, into a border state. And that's all courtesy of Alejandro Mayorkas. And of course, the FBI, Christopher Wray, coinciding with the DOJ to kind of chase Trump for the past 4 years has been relentless. The debacle with Merrick Garland and Jack Smith going after him, the Mar-a-Lago raid, these people have been onto Trump for utmost 8 years, and nothing has been able to stick with them. The DOJ immediately dropped all charges upon Trump winning the election, although we're still waiting on the New York hush money case to see that kind of dismissed, even although the judge has just merely postponed sentencing. The FBI and Homeland Security is really going to see the overhaul that it needs. And these guys are just kind of keeping the seats warm until Trump's appointees can get in there, really get under the hood, and really fix these places for what they really should be. An honest place where accountability, transparency, good, honest people work for the betterment of the American people, and not to placate to the far left and to secure the deep state's security in terms of protection from accountability from the people. These people who work for us but weren't elected are ducking responsibility right to our faces. We should all be extremely offended. We should all be disgusted, and we should feel dejected and dismissed for our concerns, considering that these people who are in charge of those are ducking responsibility and accountability right to our faces. So Alejandro Mayorkas, Christopher Wray, skipping the threats to the Homeland meeting in the Senate, absolutely shameful, should never have happened. And it's just another example of the fourth branch of government, the administrative state, the deep state, protecting their own, ducking responsibility, ducking accountability from the public, from the people who they were indirectly elected by. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. If you support and help the channel grow, become a member, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay updated with all my uploads. Finally, whether you agree or disagree, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I look forward to engaging with you guys in respectful and thoughtful discussions. With that said, I'll see you guys next video. See ya.